Welcome to another special edition of Senior Citizen Alcove. In today's package, we have the opportunity to visit Alhaji Shuaibu Musa in his hometown in Okene, Kogi State. Alhaji Shuaibu was in his youthful age a footballer, boxer. He is a veteran broadcaster and a seasoned administrator. Through our interaction with him, he told us about some of his schoolmates, who one of them was the Nigerian late president, Alhaji Musa YARADUA. It's obvious that we wouldn't be able to broadcast all segments today, but we surely continue wherever we stop. I am Avoid Mogu. I'll be right back after the moment. Stay with us. Hello, it's Senior Citizen Alcove, and welcome to Alhaji Shuaibu Musa's world. Alhaji Shuaibu Musa was born in the mid-40s at Bariki Quarters in Alhaji Lawan compound in Okene. He was enrolled into the Catholic Primary School in Okene in 1952. While in primary school, he was a gifted footballer who played for his Quranic school, some local young boys football clubs, and in 1960, he was the captain of his primary school football team. In the final year of his primary school, Alhaji Shuaibu Musa, along with his other mates, sat for the common entrance examination, and when the result came out, he was the only one that year selected for admission into the prestigious government college, KEFFI. From 1961 to 1967, Alhaji Shuaibu Musa was at Government College KEFFI, where he met students from other parts of northern Nigeria, some of whom later became very important dignitaries, such as the late President Alhaji Umar Musa Yaradua, the two-time Minister of Finance for Nigeria, Dr. Shamsuddin Usman from Kano State, and the ex-Minister of Information, Alhaji Lai Muhammad from Kwara State, and many more. While at the Government College KEFFI, Alhaji Shuaibu Musa played many roles as well as occupied many positions as follows. In his final year in 1967, he was the football captain for the college. In 1966 to 1967, he was the captain of the boxing club. In 1967, he was the college house prefect for Benue House. At the end of his studies at the college, he was admitted into the College Hall of Fame for excellent academic performance, meaning that up to today his name is written on the wall of the Assembly Hall. Upon leaving the college, he was in 1968 employed as a coach for football and boxing, as well as classroom teacher at the Government Secondary School, Abuja, now known as Suleja. In 1969, he gained admission into the Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, where he read public administration, and in 1972 he graduated with a BA Honours degree. While at Ahmadu Bello University, he was the President General of the Ibira Student Association in 1971. He was also a member of the university football team from 1970 to 1972. Upon graduation from the university, Alhaji Shuaibu Musa's first appointment was with the Broadcasting Company of Northern Nigeria, BCNN, in 1972 as a radio journalist. In 1973, the radio company transferred him to Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, Ilorin, as its representative, and his job was to cover all events happening in Kwara, then Bendel and Western State, and report them back to his radio station accordingly. Alhaji Shuaibu Musa carried out his assignment so successfully that he received many commendation letters and got promoted very rapidly. In 1977, his radio company sent him on a training course at United Kingdom with the BBC in London. While doing the training, his area of specialization was community radio broadcasting. Before leaving the BCNN, Alhaji Shuaibu Musa reached the position of Deputy Director of Programs. In 1980, Alhaji Shuaibu Musa switched from radio broadcasting to take up an appointment with AJAOKUTA State Company as an assistant general manager personnel. In this position, and with subsequent promotion to the position of deputy general manager, Alhaji Shuaibu Musa became the critical officer in charge of employment in AJAOKUTA State Company. As the chairman of the Junior Staff Establishment Matters and secretary to the Senior Staff Establishment Matters, Alhaji Shuaibu Musa was able to employ many people into the AJAOKUTA State Company from 1980 to 1984. In 1983, when Alhaji Shehu Shagari, president of Nigeria, came to AJAOKUTA to commission the wire rod mills, the staff strength of AJAOKUTA workers was 10,000, made up of 6,000 for junior workers and 4,000 for senior workers. In July 1984, Alhaji Shuaibu was retired from AJAOKUTA State Company. Meanwhile, the federal government had set up an administrative panel of inquiry upon the financial affairs of AJAOKUTA Steel in the same 1984. By the time the white paper report of the inquiry was released, Alhaji Shuaibu Musa was one of the very few top officers of the company not affected adversely. Indeed, the police authority not only exonerated him, they also issued him with a letter of commendation. With this happy development, Alhaji Shuaibu Musa was able to get back to the federal public service employment again for a number of years before he finally retired. In 1985, through the help of his friend Alhaji Isa Salam, the Ohi Otenyete of Ibiraland, Alhaji Shuaibu Musa was appointed as a board director of the Kwara State Broadcasting Commission. In this position and using his knowledge of community broadcasting, Alhaji Shuaibu Musa was able to bring into Ibiraland the first radio station known as Radio Tite in 1989. In appreciation of his achievements in providing employment for Ibira people wherever he worked and for bringing to Ibiraland the first radio station known as Radio Tite, and in his many other contributions to the development of Ibiraland, Alhaji Shuaibu Musa received national and international meritorious awards. And among his hobbies is to be in the garden every evening. I present to you Alhaji Shuaibu Musa on this edition of Senior Citizen Alcove. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good to have you on Senior Citizen Alcove.
Good evening, Avoy. It's my great pleasure to have you with me today. Like you have said, I am Alhaji Shuaibu Musa. I was born in the mid-40s and I attended the primary school known as Christ the King in Okene from 1952 to 1960. While in the primary school, I was a gifted footballer. In 1961, I passed the common entrance and gained admission to the prestigious government college KEFFI, and there I met so many people from other parts of the northern Nigeria. At that time, we used to have provinces, Kaba province, Zaria province, Kaduna province, Niger province. Now they call them states. Students were brought from all parts of northern Nigeria. Also, students were given admission who are even from the west and even the east, depending on where you attended your primary. Once you attended your primary school in the north and you passed, you were given admission. So, and the opportunity, the great opportunity I think I've had in my life is that through this college, I was able to meet with so many students from all parts of northern Nigeria. Some of them who later became great dignitaries in Nigeria. I can mention about 3 of them.
We'll still come to that later. But briefly, I want you to tell us about your parents and how you were able to grow in the midst of your younger one, your siblings, and how many are you in your family?
Well, my father had 4 wives and my mother was the eldest. And on my mother's side, we were 6, and I was the eldest and the only male. And when I got to the college, I love physical sports like football and boxing, and my dad did not like this. And as much as he would tell me, please don't engage in boxing. But while doing boxing in the college, I was a star boxer. So I'll tell him, okay, I will not engage in boxing, but when I'm at the college, people are there who want to see me, you know. So I did a lot of sports while in the college. And for example, in 1967, the year 1967, I was not only the football captain, I was also the boxing captain. I was a prefect. I was everything, both in the sports field and also, lucky enough, academically, I thank God I was always there.
Wow, very good starting. And your secondary school now we're looking at, okay? People joining from all around the world converge in a particular place called secondary school, and you go to school and you finished. Do you have some of your friends in Nigeria that are still maybe very much in relationship with you till now?
Well, unfortunately, not much, because we are talking about something 60-something years ago. But there are still a few. For example, His Excellency Ambassador Umodu Suleiman Azos, he is from NASARAWA State. He was Nigeria's ambassador to Thailand, and he was my senior by 2 years. He was a prefect when we were at the government college, KEFFI. This man is now in Lafia, he's from Lafia, NASARAWA State. There's an interesting story about this man and late Nigerian President YARADUA.
Wow.
This man was a prefect, a no-nonsense prefect. Anytime he was on duty,
you mean you are in the same class with late President
Musa YARADUA was my junior by 3 years.
Wow.
And this man I'm talking about, who later became ambassador, was my senior by 2 years. So whenever he was on duty, there is no way Musa YARADUA, the late president of Nigeria, there is no way he will not run into problem, and he will get punished. Even though his father was a minister in Lagos, there was no question of being minister or whatever. All of us were disciplined on the same level. So this man was a peculiar prefect. If he was going to be on duty tomorrow, he would come out and announce in the dining hall that, look, tomorrow I will be on duty. And that fellow, that guy that calls himself Bodu Musa YARADUA had better be careful. He should not fall into my trap again tomorrow. And this is fair warning, isn't it? And Bodu Musa YARADUA will try as much as possible. But somehow, he will either come late to the class, or he will come late to the dining hall, or something must happen, or he will fail to sweep his class so that he was always punishing Bodu Musa YARADUA. Then, when Bodu Musa YARADUA became president, there was an incident that happened. 3 nominations were sent to the presidency for the president to nominate one, to pick one out of the 3 to be Nigeria's ambassador to Thailand. And of these 3, one of them was this prefect that used to punish him. So when he saw the name, he said, he called the foreign minister. He said, look, give me the details of this particular man, Umodu Suleiman Azos. Is he from NASARAWA State? He said, yes. See if he went to government college KEFFI. Lo and behold, It is true. So it was that prefect that used to punish him every time he was on duty. And then he said, all right. He ticked him and said that's the person he will select to be Nigeria's ambassador to Thailand. To Thailand. And the foreign minister became surprised. He said, but Your Excellency, you said he used to punish you every time he was on duty. Why now did you pick him? He said, well, I picked him because if he didn't punish me, I would not have corrected myself to become the president of Nigeria today. So that's very, very spectacular.
That's
and,
very,
yes,
very unique
well,
way
of thinking.
Yes.
You know, because other people will expect
we'll say,
that
wow,
the man
he's
will
been
just,
punishing me.
exactly,
Now it's time for
yes,
me to pay him back.
He said, no, if he didn't punish me and for me to take to correction, I will not have done it. So that's a very noble way of thinking. I thought I should
just the same way some person will think, or will still take this particular scenario and play it out negatively. He sees the opportunity to reward what the man was doing then in
a positive way.
Yeah. It's another way of telling our younger ones that no matter how you're being treated, you do not pay evil for evil. It's good to really reward people with good. It's good. Don't say because this person has actually punished you when you are nobody or when you are growing up, he's been wicked, is this and that. You don't know, maybe that discipline is what will catapult you to your greater heights. Imagine our late president Musa YARADUA and this man. Look at what happened. They played out that some person would look at it and say, oh, it's time for me to pay this person. And oh, look at me, I'm now a president, I'll punish you for all you have done. But instead, he rewarded this man with ambassadorial position. That is it. It's a good one. May he so rest in peace. That's our late Musa YARADUA. And to our father, if you are watching it, I'm happy. I pray to meet you soon, so that you tell me the side of your story. It's very interesting.
Thank you very much.
All right,
and still talking about YARADUA, when he was in the college, he was like any other person, any other normal average student. One thing about him is that he was a guitarist. Wow. To go about playing guitar. Well, guitar was an expensive commodity then. But his father was a minister at the federal level in the Balewa government. So through that, well, he got money. He used to play guitar around, and you know, also whenever he was coming, there's a nickname we used to call him, but that will come later.
Why not? Let's hear it.
All right.
Let's hear it.
Okay. Let me tell the story with the nickname.
Yeah.
I was to receive an award in the year 2009, 2007 at a hotel in Abuja, and that evening there was the person that was the chairman of the PDP then, by name late Vincent Obulafo. You know, he was the one asked to come and present the awards. He was the guest of honor to present the awards to the awardees, and I was there, and I was sitting next to him. And after introduction, he told me that he might not stay long because he had to go and meet with Mr. President. So immediately I heard this, I said, oh, okay, oh, fine. Sir, please say me well to him when you meet him. Then he asked me, do you know Mr. President? I said, well, I know him. We were in the college together. I said, oh, wow, that's great. Okay, is there anything I can tell him? I said, oh, tell him that one of his schoolmates, you know, sends his greetings to him, and that if you want to surprise him, tell him, Mr. President, I know your nickname when you were in the college. I said there was a nickname we used to call him when he was in the college. We didn't know him much as Moro. We knew him as 007.
007?
Yes, 007 came from the storybook. What do you call the storybook? Oh dear, it's a British storybook codenamed 007. And his father being a minister, he would go on holidays in Vegas And on coming back, he will come back with these storybooks. And those of us who like reading novels, we go to his corner, and then we borrow, we write your name, borrow, and then we return. And James Bond storybooks. James Bond is the name. The code name of James Bond is 007. So if somebody asks you, oh, where did you get this James Bond? It's from 007. So that 007 became 007 anniversary. So those of us who attended the college at the same time knew him more of 007 than Moro, you know. So I say, when you meet Mr. President, surprise him. Tell him that you know. Tell him, say, Mr. President, you think I don't know you? I know you very much. I know you. I can even tell you. Your nickname, they used to call you in the secondary school. I said, if you say this, whatever he's holding will drop. And he will ask you how come. And that's exactly what happened. Later on, Vincent Obulafo phoned me and said, look, Mr. President was so surprised when he told him. And he said, okay, what is that, my nickname? And he said, you think I'm joking? It's not 007. He said, Kai, who told you this? Somebody. Who told you this? Whoever told you this must have gone to the same secondary school as me, because it's only in the secondary school they knew me as 007, you know. So when he now said, well, I met one person who said his name is Shuaibu Musa. It's a boxer, he's a footballer. Then said, yes, he talked about it. That's how he and you used to travel to Bida, Mina, Abuja, doing boxing. He said, yeah, that's the name. Look, where is he? I want to see him. How can I see him? Then Obulafo, chairman of PDP, started joking. If I get him to see you, what will you give me? So they joked. And then he said, okay, don't worry, I will arrange it. So the following day, Obulafo now phoned me and said, look, Mr. President was very, very surprised and excited about it. He wants to see you. So I now said, okay, I am back in Lagos. I took an early morning flight to Lagos. I'm back in Lagos. When next I come to Abuja, I will link up with you and we'll go and see him. Then Mr. Obulafo said, what? Did I hear you say when next you come to Abuja? The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria wants to see you, and you are saying, well, you should join the next plane to come over to Abuja. That was when I came to my senses. And I said, okay, stop that ticket. Obulafo said, I'll buy you a ticket. Don't worry, I'll buy you a ticket, you know. And of course, then I now made arrangement. I went to Abuja, met with Obulafo, and Obulafo has his director phone number. Phoned him, he said, bring him, you people should be there. He made arrangements so that they will not be there at the checkpoint, you know. By 5:30, we were seated in the reception where, you know, and 5:45, he was with us. I was expecting he would come through the door that I knew. I saw everybody coming inside and going out, but then he just came through another door. And in the confusion, I got up and I was almost kneeling down. Your Excellency. He said, senior. Senior. How many years? Then he embraced me and said I should sit down on the same sofa with him. And we sat down. He said, I've been asking of you. You told me you were in AJAOKUTA and that you left AJAOKUTA. Then I said, yes, I know the person that I've been telling you about me is Debo Adeken. His classmate. Okay. He said, yes, it's Debo. And Debo used to come to Lagos and we will see and he will tell me at that time the president was governor of Katsina State. Yes. He said, He said, well, he would tell people, well, I know it's an
He really valued
but it's my
friends.
classmate.
Yeah.
He values people that he's been coming with. So we talked and talked and talked. And when I was about going, I made a certain request. And maybe I shouldn't say this one.
Oh, wow. Is this something that is camera? Maybe later you can tell only me.
It should be off
Off
camera.
camera, okay.
I can tell you later, but sorry, please.
Ah, that's great. That's great.
No,
Oh wow,
then,
what a good experience there, and
that's my experience
it's a very good one.
Actually,
Well,
what happened is,
as anyway, growing up as a young adult, were you in any way regretting becoming who you are today?
not at all. I am not regretting, because when I left the university in 1972, my first place of work was broadcasting company of Northern Nigeria, BCNN, later known as Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, Kaduna. And there was one of my finest moments, because I had the opportunity of meeting the finest of the broadcast industry in Nigeria. The likes of late Alhaji Abazoro, late Alhaji Dahiru Modibo. Dahiru Modibo later became the Director General of Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria for many years. Late Senator Adamu Augi, late Governor Balaredu Musa. Balaredu Musa was the chief accountant then, and a very, very strong personality. But he did not last too long there. The reason is that he was a straight jacket, very rigid, but always on the right path. He doesn't know how to bend. Before you know it, those who know how to bend
Just unseat
will unseat him. That's the word, you know. So the likes of Balaredu Musa, the likes of Khalifa Baba Ahmed, who was my direct colleague, the likes of Alhaji Ibrahim Ahmed Kontabura, who later became the MD of Niger Radio, the likes of Yahaya Sani, who also became director of news and in Lagos, and the likes of Yahya Abubakar, who became the Director General of Voice of Nigeria. These were my colleagues. So working with such broadcast titans, I think is a great opportunity. So there's nothing to regret about it at all. Then I think I consider myself very lucky, because my broadcast company, Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, they sent me to the best broadcast training school in the world, BBC London. I went to the BBC London, and from there I did my practicals with, you can see the picture.
Yes.
I did my practicals with BBC Radio Oxford, and that helped me immensely. Even after I had left the broadcast, after I had left Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria in Kaduna, I became a director with Kwara Broadcasting, and there I was able to initiate it, got it approved, and then we got a booster station to Okene Radio, known as Radio in 1989. So the first radio station in Kogi State. Kogi State was formed in 1991. I was able to influence this radio to Okene in 1989. So the first radio station in Kogi State was through my instrumentality. On my return, I was used as a guinea pig experiment, a broadcasting guinea pig experiment. The meaning of that is that BCNN wanted to expand its coverage to the whole country. Before it was just the northern states. Now they wanted to expand to the whole country, and so that people can be reporting from all the state capitals. And I was the first person that they experimented upon, and they told me if the experiment is successful, then the expansion will come on stream. But if it is not successful, then they will cancel it. So they sent me, I was sent on transfer to Kwara State, Ilorin, and a studio was built for me so that I go and do coverage, come and do editing, and then sent to Kaduna. And my task was to cover Kwara State, Bendel State, and western states of that time, Ogun, Oyo, and so on, minus Lagos. Yaya Abubakar, who later became the managing director of Voice of Nigeria, he was sent to Lagos to cover Lagos. And I was sent to Ilorin to cover Kwara State, western states, and the then Bendel State. So when I was there, a studio was built for me, and I was doing coverage. I had a car, I had my car, I was traveling everywhere there were events to cover, and the military governor of Kwara State then was late Colonel David Bamiboy. And luckily for me, my work was so successful that even David Bamiboy himself, when he went for a meeting in Kaduna, he visited Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria office and told them that he was very, very happy about the coverage being given to Kwara State.
Wow.
And that was a big boom and boost for me. My direct head of sound, late Alhaji Modibo, sent me commendation letters, and from that point I was being promoted almost every year. Wow. You know. Then later on, I was now sent back to Kaduna to join Yaya Abubakar to start a radio program called Nationwide. And that was the first of its type, making coverage of events in the whole of Nigeria. And the company now went ahead and recruited many graduates, gave them radio journalism training, you know, and then sent them to all the state capitals, and Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria became the #1 radio station in Nigeria. And I rose rapidly and became deputy director of programs before I left for AJAOKUTA Steel Company in 1980.
Very interesting. I am glad that you are coming from this industry. Anyway, we'll be back after this break. Oh yes, I'm sure you enjoy every moment of it. Thank you for sharing the moment with us. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Malakai TV. Locate our Facebook pages, MIC TV, and like it as well. Share it and ensure you send your name and contact phone number to me if you want to share your experience as a senior citizen, or you have a senior citizen that you want him or her to speak with us. My phone is on the screen, so make sure you call me today. Until same time next week on this Malakai TV Online, stay positive to attract positive things to yourself. I am Avoid Goodbye.